Hey, Chris Brown here. Just wanted to demo our MegaDesk web application, which was a team assignment this week in CIT 365. Got open here the splash page for the web application. You can see that very much like the Windows application that we previously worked on, you have buttons on the left to navigate to the different functions. So we can view all quotes, we can add a quote, and we can search quotes from here. So let's jump to view all quotes. You can see here that in the web grid, we've made the customer name and the quote date sortable. So if I want to sort by customer name, I can do that. If I want to sort by quote date, which could be handy, maybe I want to see, the newest quotes first, I can do that. Also, from here, we made the customer name a link to be able to view more details about that quote. We also have available links to edit the quote and to be able to delete the quote. And then we also, from here, thought it would be nice to link to the search quotes page and also the add a quote page so that if I'm in here looking at quotes and I'm working with a customer, I can quickly add a quote, or if I'm trying to look up quotes for that customer, I can quickly search quotes. So just some of the navigation features that we built into the app. You can see if I go to the view page, it gives me all of the details about the quote, including the date and time that it was added and the quote amount, and every attribute about the desk that goes into that. So I can either go back to the main menu from here or go back to my view all quotes from here. If I go in and edit a quote, so let's say I really didn't want a desk quite that deep, I'm going to make that, let's say, a 26-inch depth on that. And then from here, I can calculate the price or I can just update the quote. But I'm going to go ahead and calculate the price. You can see that that dropped the price a little bit because the size of the desk changed. And then if I update the quote, there I am back, and you see that updated amount now sitting in the web grid. So let's try and add a quote. This is where we spend a lot of our time adding features. So I'm just going to order a 48 by 24 with 4 drawers. And you can see with our material drop down, if I choose rosewood, I can get an idea of what that looks like. If I choose oak, I can get an idea what that looks like. So I got a little visual cue, as the challenge said, about what those materials might look like. And so I'm going to choose oak for this. And I'm in a big hurry for it, so I'm going to order it with a 3-day rush. Again, I can calculate the price or just add the quote. But I want to see, before I save it, what it is, which is kind of why we built this calculate price feature into here. So you can see that's the calculated cost, and I might change my mind and say, well, maybe I'm not in that big of a hurry. Let's go with a 5-day rush. And what does that look like? Oh, that drops it by $20. Well, that sounds okay to me. That's about $800. We'll go ahead and add that quote. So the add quote then takes me to a view page where I can see here's what I just added. And then from here, again, I can go back to the main menu or back to my view all quotes page. And so if I change my sort again, and then there's the newest one at the top, the one that we just added. Okay. Let's go ahead and delete the one that I just added. Let's look at that. So it basically just, again, it shows you all the attributes of the quote. It doesn't immediately delete it. It takes you to this page, kind of a, are you sure you want to delete this sort of feature? And then if we really do, we click delete quote. It takes us back, and you can see that it's now gone. So the next thing I'd like to show you is this search quotes. So you can see in here, I'm going to search by Melissa, and you can see that it pulls back the one record that has that name in it. So that's working. And again, from this web grid, it's the same kind of thing. I can view from here. I can edit or delete from my search page. And then my only navigation options really from here are to be able to go back to that main menu. So let's talk a little bit about responsiveness. You know, it definitely works with responsiveness, and it's a little easier for me to show that feature to you if we go in and look at it in Chrome instead of Edge where we were. So let's run it, and here we are in Chrome, and I can go to my Dev Tools, and let's say, what does this thing look like on a Galaxy S5? And you can see, well, there it is. So that looks good. And let's see, what does it look like on an iPhone 8? Well, changes a little bit because it's a little bit wider. That looks good still. What about the latest? An iPhone 10. Looks really, really good on there. Now, one thing that you probably noticed when I first came here is it was on iPad, and it doesn't look the best on iPad, and it looks even worse on iPad Pro. That's because the iPads have a bit of a problem with viewport. They don't really handle it well. And you know, my partner and I talked about whether we should try and fix that late today, and you know, just felt like you know, we kind of proved that we could make it responsive, and didn't really feel like we wanted to invest the effort in a 1-week app project to make it fixed on the iPad or the iPad Pro. But that's the responsive aspect to it. So you can see that that all works great. And that's pretty much the app. So thanks for watching.